Okay, what's up guys? Sorry it's dark, the light bulb went out. So yeah, I'll have to change that. But we're going to talk about Muhammad, the Prophet of Islam. And why I think Muhammad is more reliable than Jesus. Because there is actually proof that Muhammad exists. For example, when you go to Mecca, you can go to you can visit the burial site of where Muhammad was buried. You could see various items the Prophet used to own, like his shoe, his sword, his slipper, his clothing. You could also visit the house in which he lived in, so this was not a religious fictional character. This was actually a real historic public figure, as there is proof that he exists. Unlike Jesus, where the only thing left of him is the Bible. And even then, the Bible has been changed to Old Testament, New Testament, so much sects that it would no longer reflect what Jesus wrote down anyway. Now, to compare a real guy, Muhammad, to a fictional character, Jesus, it's a bit stupid, but Christians have the upper hand and say, oh, well, Jesus never killed anyone, Jesus never touched a soul, he was so nice. But Muhammad killed tons of people, he was a warmonger. Okay, let me tell you first, if Jesus was real, because there's no evidence to suggest he did, unlike Moses, who, once again, has a burial site, you can visit Moses' burial site. The Church of the Holy Sculpture in Jerusalem is Jesus' believed burial site, but no one knows for sure. It's probably just a skeleton. I don't actually think that's Jesus' burial site, but yeah, but they say, oh, well, Jesus was a pacifist and stuff. Well, like I said, the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, they all say the similar sort of stuff. So by saying, oh, one author's better than the other, it's a bit stupid. Also, the reason Jesus never touched a soul is because Jesus was under Roman occupation. So if he tried to get violent, he would have been crushed rather quickly. But Muhammad had opportunity to seize and grab land, while Jesus could not, because Muhammad was not under Roman rule, but Jesus was. So, yeah. So I'm pretty sure Jesus would have picked up the sword as well, but he couldn't because he was vastly outnumbered by the Romans, and even by the Jewish zealots who was also conspiring against him. So, now people like to say stuff against... They like to discredit Muhammad and say, oh, he dated Aisha, a 6-year-old girl. Oh, he cut people's heads off. Oh, he was this mean man. Yeah, sure. He's a human being. He was just a human of his time, a human of his age. That's what people did back then. It's a bit like discrediting George Washington's achievements simply because he had slaves. It's like saying everything George Washington did was bad just because he had slaves. Yes, having slaves is bad. Yes, it's wrong. But once again, you can't discredit George Washington's achievements because that's just what people did at the time. People can't be blamed for the fabric and time which they lived. Like, I don't blame racists in the 1950s for being racists because it was totally acceptable for people to be racist, and it's not their fault that the society is like that. And sometimes you have to be like the society in order to survive. So yeah, it's like trying to discredit George Washington because he had slaves, or even Gandhi. If you're a Hindu nationalist, Gandhi slept with his used to sleep with his granddaughters. So I think that's pretty fucked up. But like I said, and another thing is they'll criticise Muhammad, but they'll never say anything towards the Jewish prophets. Like, for example, what about Moses? Moses was a slaveholder. Moses was an Egyptian pharaoh who had slaves. Don't hear anyone speaking about that. What's it called? I heard Jacob married Rebecca, had sex with Rebecca, who was his sister, and was underage, so I think that's pretty fucked up. What's it called? Abraham raped his Egyptian slave wife Hagar to create Ishmael. So no, there's always an exception to the Muhammad and the Jewish prophets. I feel everyone's so trigger happy to criticize Muhammad, but when you mention all the stuff the Jewish prophets do, oh well, you can't say that. That's anti-Semitic. It just seems like the straw in this case really does break the camel's back in contradiction here. So yeah, and with what's it called? Even if you're Christian, the whole Adam and Eve story. What's it called? Adam and Eve had 3 sons. How did they populate the world? That means those 3 sons must have had to fucked each other. So, yeah. But yeah, I don't blame Jacob. I don't blame Abraham. I don't blame Moses, because that's just what people did at the time. I don't blame George Washington. That's what people did at the time. I'm pretty sure there's stuff me and you are probably doing in the current day that's probably going to be offensive to someone in 50 years' time or 100 years' time. We're probably doing evil and cynical shit right now. For example, pornography will probably be considered evil in 50 years' time, but I'm pretty sure you're watching it and I'm watching it, so... But I'm pretty sure in like 100 years' time it'll be, oh, people used to watch pornography back in 2018. Oh, wow, so bad. So I don't blame people for doing stuff in the time in which was acceptable, because I'm pretty sure I'm doing stuff that's wrong and you're probably doing stuff that's wrong that seems normal now. So to put Muhammad under the scrutiny is just ridiculous. So yeah, that's just my view in it. So yeah, Muhammad, peace be upon him. Peace.